Hi, I'm Daniel Fisher here at Sweetwater Sound, and one of my favorite kind of days is when I walk into my office and there's a brand new synthesizer waiting for me. That happened today. This is the Moog Matriarch Semi-modular analog synthesizer. It's basically based off the grandmother, except it has 4 oscillators. It can go into 4 notes of paraphony. The ARP and the sequencer have been seriously beefed up. There are lots of extra features. The filter is true stereo. It does the stereo split with the spacing like it does on the Voyager. It can be high pass, low pass in series, low pass in stereo, or parallel high pass, low pass. You've got 2 envelope generators, lots of utilities, including 3 attenuverters, plus another LFO. You got a true stereo delay that's true analog, made out of Bucket Brigade chips. It's based off the 500 series delay from Moog. So really exciting stuff. And I don't even have the owner's manual yet, but I just wanted you to hear it and I wanted you to see the basic features. So starting from the left, we have the Arpeggiator sequencer. That comes from the grandmother, but it has lots of new features, including the fact that there are now 4 sequences with 3 banks of 4 sequences. Each of those sequences can be 256 notes, and each of those notes can have up to 4 notes of polyphony, which is crazy. And then you have the Arpeggiator, which can do your notes in order, forward, backwards, and random. And then you can have the octaves of the Arpeggiator be 1, 2, or 3 octaves. At the bottom, you've got the rest and the tie, which we had before, but now you also have a ratchet button that lets you repeat per step a certain number of times. The modulation section, also similar to the grandmother, but now you can choose, because it has 4 oscillators, you could choose whether you're doing pitch amounts of 1 and 3, all 4 oscillators, or 2 and 4. That's really significant because now you can have oscillators sync with the 3 oscillators slaving against the first oscillator, and you can choose which ones are syncing. The utilities module gives you a buffered mult with 1 in, 3 out. You also have 2 attenuverters or attenuators that can invert. So you can go from no signal at all to full on upside down. That lets you turn your envelopes and LFOs upside down. Very cool. You have 2 of those, and now you have control voltage ins to sweep those knobs. This is duplicated over here where you have yet another buffered mult, another attenuverter, again with CV in, and then 1 more LFO that has a triangle out and a square out and a control voltage rate in, as well as the knob. The 4 analog oscillators were inspired by the Mini Moog oscillators, which were in turn inspired by the 921 oscillators. Those were found in the System 55 modular. Each of those have pitch in, wave out, pulse width modulation in, and linear FM in. Each of those can have their own separate outs, so you can run them all independently. And then you can, like I said before, you can sync enable any combination of them. And then they each can do triangle, saw, square, and pulse. The mixer's based on the classic CP3 mixer, also from the System 55 and other modular synths from Moog. You get noise, it's a white noise, you have the 4 oscillators, and they absolutely will clip in a very pleasant way if you go past 12 o'clock. You can also use these separate ins to bypass the oscillator in and have something else come in, or one of these oscillators run through something else, then coming back into the mixer. So it's really just a wide open 4-channel mixer as well with noise. The filters are inspired by the classic 904A, and like the Voyager, you can have a separate high pass and low pass with spacing between the 2 of them, and those are in true stereo. You can have it either high pass, low pass in series, stereo low passes, or parallel high pass and low pass. Each has their own resonance. You have an envelope amount that's shared and key tracking that's shared, but the key thing is that you can sweep the spacing. The 2 envelope generators are based on the classic 911 envelopes, and you have one dedicated to filter, one dedicated to amplitude, but you can run them separately and do whatever you want with them. You have different ways of running these envelopes with a multi-trigger switch, as well as a VCA mode that lets you have a drone sound always on, lets you split the oscillators left and right, or just running through the standard amplitude envelope. And very near and dear to my heart is the stereo delay, and it's a true analog stereo delay that can do ping pong, and you can do spacing so you can have various rhythmic effects of the ping pong, nice delay time, feedback that goes all the way into infinite and has a really nice bloom to it, as you can hear in the examples. And then finally, you got the VCA section based on the 902 VCA. And you have a main volume that gives you stereo outs. You also have stereo out from the headphone with its own volume knob on the back. Your VCA mode can be in amp envelope mode following this. It can be in split, where the oscillators are split left and right. And then there's drone mode, where the amplifier is always on, allowing you to use this envelope for something else. The paraphony mode lets you do 1 voice, 2 voice, or 4 voice, and you could choose whether you have multi-triggering on or not. On the left side, you've got a glide, the ability to play and stop the arpeggiators and the sequencers. You can hold the arpeggiators. You've got a tap tempo, pitch, and mod wheel. The keyboard is a 4-octave velocity sensing and aftertouch sensing keyboard, and on the back you have control voltage outs for pitch and gate, and aftertouch and velocity, and an expression pedal in that can come out as the 3.5 millimeter. Okay, that was the shallowest dive ever on something this powerful. But as soon as I get this video out, we're going to start working on the deep dive and go through every single parameter on this thing, because it is totally worth it. If you have any further questions about this Moog product or other Moog keyboards, please contact your Sweetwater sales engineer. My name is Daniel Fisher. Thank you very much for watching.